Welcome to Basic Stitches, our Stitch With Us, Stitch With Me video. We are working on the Country Cottage Needleworks Up and Away, which is our hashtag basic up and away. Both Jordan and I are working on it. I started on the bottom of the grass and been working my way up because I don't think I'm going to do the balloons up here. I'm just going to do the house and the trees and just move down the clouds.
And I started in the middle because I'm doing
the whole thing. So we are kind of in different locations, and she has, I can't even think what I was just going to say. I'm right off the bat. I don't have a clue. Anyway,
this is going to become a regular thing for us.
I have substituted out a lot of my threads with the Victoria Moto thread. Right now I'm using Blarney Green Victorian Moto.
And right now I'm using Sunset, that's Classic Colorworks, which is not what's called for, but that's what my substitution was.
Do you remember what the name of our fabric is?
Sea Spray.
And was it Zweigart or
no,
Wichelt?
Wichelt.
So, and it's 16 count is what we like to use. I gotta count. We usually do questions. We've usually done like a getting to know you type, some kind of a tag. Today we don't have one. We don't really have a subject to talk about. I guess just whatever.
I wish I could say you guys tell us, but
right?
This isn't live right now, so.
We'll already have it like interactive, yeah.
I think it'd be really fun to do a live stream like that. And to have like your phone looking at questions that we could answer as we stitched.
Oh, maybe we'll have to try that another time. Abby did our last stitch with me last time, and she was working on her Harry Potter piece, which she has basically, I think, got all the banners done on, and then she just needs to do the top part.
You brought up Abby and I got a knot.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, because Abby got so many knots last time. I didn't mean to giggle at her, but it was funny. Oh, Miss Abby. She is going to be leaving me this summer. And she's leaving
pretty
me
much an empty nester.
Well, we have your brother. But she's leaving me with all the boys. So my husband, my son, and my dog. And me. That's all that will be home this summer. She's going up to work in camp in Wyoming with a friend and her sister. And she's exhausted today, I'm sure. She was doing training all day yesterday and missed a few things because of it, but she's excited. But she'll be gone for 2 full months. A little over 2 months. But that's a good experience for her. She'll be turning 19 when she gets home. So
this will be her first like experience really living away from home.
Yeah. I think it is a good experience for her, not for me. No. Just kidding.
She's like the golden child, so
she is not. I love you all.
She's never given you many problems.
No, she's pretty.
I wasn't a great teenager, so compared to me, Abby is basically like Mother Teresa, saint.
She has just personality-wise and everything. She worried about grades in school. She still does. She's going to college. She got 97% on her math final. She's way excited about that.
That's awesome. She was supposed to be studying at my house the other day and then didn't because she didn't want to.
So you mean she could have got hired? No, I'm just kidding. 97% was great. I'm perfectly happy with that, and so is she. But she has always worried about grades and tried her hardest, and you know, she's a pretty responsible young girl. But anyway, so she's not with us today. And she probably won't be for a few months because of her going away to work.
And then she'll come back pretty much just in time for the school year to start again.
Pretty much. So, yeah. Awkward silence. That was funny. I need to count, so it'll take me just a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. So I was thinking, because I knew we were gonna film this Stitch with Me, so I was thinking I was going to get the flowers done in this grass right here, this upper with the coral flowers in the upper hill, and then I'd just be able to go stitch the green around them. But I did not get those flowers done, so now I need to count while I stitch and try to keep up where I'm doing and make space for the flowers. So I added in the white flowers and the bottom green, the grass right here, which I'm sorry, my nails are horrible. I did a little yellow in the middle, more like a daisy. The pattern called for all just the white, but that was something different I did on this pattern.
I'm really glad that we're actually working on these again, because I haven't for a little while with mania and birthday parties and life just being crazy.
I've done a row of, well, I did my initial green starting, and that, to get that first long row, it took me a minute. I had pins that I put along every 10 stitches, so to count it out. But, and then I've done a thread or two of green here and there to try and just keep going on it. I got my 8.
I've kind of like, with all the craziness of mania, because really just, there's a reason why it's called mania. I kind of forgot that I had it. So it's kind of been nice to, I like the blue. I love stitching on this blue fabric.
It is a really pretty blue, and it's bright, but not too bright. Yeah.
Like it's a neutral blue, but it's still like definitely blue.
And do you know what I've enjoyed is this is actually my first time using my Victoria Moto threads. And I think I just goofed.
It's okay, so did I.
Oh, I gotta unstitch one stitch is all. But this is, yeah, my first time with the Victoria Moto. And they glide so smooth. I don't know what it is. These threads are just so soft.
Oh, wow.
And I love that you get so much. You get 20 yards in one skein. But, I mean, they're soft and they glide. I mean, this is Aida, so, you know, you stitchers know Aida is a little bit of a stiffer fabric. But for them to glide through Aida so easily, I mean, I've just really enjoyed stitching with them. To the point of, let me tell you, I did a thing.
Oh, that's the other thing.
I was getting the 6 threads a month in the subscription. And the thing that I did was I upped that subscription to the 12 a month because I really wanted to have more of these threads in my stash and be able to start using them more, because stitching with them is just wonderful. I really just enjoy it. And you know, I enjoy DMC and the other fancy flosses and things really well, but for some reason I'm kind of partial to the Victoria Moto now, that I will start swapping them out more and more that I get them. I also had ordered 4 skeins of primitive white from Nancy to use on the Chalk series, Chalk for the Home. Yeah.
Chalk on the Farm, all those chalk designs by Priscilla and Kathy. I really want to start getting the Victorian Moto threads because as Mom's gotten them, like, I've seen just how gorgeous they are. Because, I mean, while they even look really nice on, like, the photos on Nancy's website and everything, and on her eBay shop, they really just, in person, like, the pictures don't do them justice for how they actually look in person. So as I've seen them and as Mom has just, like, raved about them, I've really wanted to try them, but probably won't be able to until after, like, September-ish is my guess. Because my husband and I last night were planning out what we want to do for our 5th anniversary. And we're thinking we're going to try to go to California for a few days to a week. We don't know exactly the plans. I mean, it's May right now, and that's going to be the end of September. But we thought it'd be fun to go hike in, like, Yosemite and do some of the hikes up there. And then go down to, like, Anaheim and LA and that area, go to, like, Harry Potter World, which we started reading the Harry Potter books together last night. And, I mean, we only read the first chapter of Sorcerer's Stone, but I forgot how much I just absolutely love the books. And then we thought we'd go to San Diego for a day too, and just kind of do a day here and there doing other stuff, or doing a bunch of random stuff. But my husband's never been to California, so I want to do some of, like, my favorite places, like Oceanside and stuff like that. So we made a plan, and now we know about what to save for a vacation so that we can
make that happen.
go do it and do the fun stuff, because tickets for Harry Potter World and Universal Studios are not cheap. It's not as bad as Disneyland, though. Disneyland prices make me angry. They're expensive.
And every year it seems like they just keep going up.
Yeah.
But
eventually, when my kids are a little bit older and they'll actually remember it, I'm still going to pay those prices to get in.
That's what people do. Yep. We've paid it for you guys.
That's why they can keep raising the prices.
Well, I just finished listening to the Deathly Hallows. I listen to books while I'm at work, just on my headphones. I use the Overdrive app, and it took me almost 2 months of waiting on a whole wish list thing to get the Deathly Hallows, but when I did, it was well worth the wait. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to that book.
That book is definitely my favorite.
The reader is just awesome. He does such a great job. I wish I remembered his name to say right now, but I don't. But he really is entertaining to listen to and does a great job. And I enjoyed listening to the entire series, but yeah, the Deathly Hallows was definitely a good one. And because I've seen the movies like 100 million times, maybe slightly exaggerating there, just slightly, but I could just picture everything in my head. Like, it was just really fun to listen to the entire series, but like I said, I really enjoyed the Deathly Hallows.
Well, and the movies were done really well, I think. I mean,
There's a few things here and there.
And a lot of it is just things that, like, you can't put an entire... How big is Deathly Hallows? Isn't it like 600 plus pages?
Yeah.
You can't put all of that into... And I know they split it into 2 parts, but into 6 hours? Like, you just...
It's a lot.
There are some things that have to be left out and changed and stuff.
Well, there was one thing that I did not realize, and I don't believe this would be a spoiler to any of you, because
The movies
it's been out forever.
and the books have been out for years.
So, but in the Deathly Hallows, when at the kind of towards the beginning, when the white doe leads Harry to the puddle, the pond thing where he dives in to get the sword of Gryffindor, and then Ron saves him, pulls him out, and everything. I did not understand or realize or even really think about whose doe that was.
Who's Patronus?
Yes. And so, and in the movie, they didn't question where the doe come from, the Patronus. But in the book, they did, Harry, Ron, and Hermione. And because I had already seen the movie all the way through a million times and things, I text Jordan and Abby together one day. I'm like, is Snape's Patronus, it's the doe. Was he the one that sent Harry the sword of Gryffindor? And it does reveal it later in the book. But they didn't focus on, whose doe that was. I don't remember. I mean, it was in the very end with Snape's, when he goes and watches Snape's memories.
In the pensive.
Yes. They did show it in there, but I just didn't pick up on it to the degree I did in the book. So I was just in love with Snape. Even though Snape was kind of a ornery, mean character.
He's kind of a tragic,
He really is, because he's just so in love with Lily and, will do anything for her, even protect her son. And
But at the same time, he's kind of playing this
devil's advocate, he does both sides.
He's trying to protect Harry through all of this, but he's still working for Voldemort to not
But he's not really working for Voldemort. He's working
so
for
it's
Dumbledore.
this whole crazy thing.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry if you don't like Harry Potter.
Yeah,
we're a very Harry
Potter family. But I just didn't realize I hadn't picked up on that, and so listening to the books, that was something new for me. So
I thought it was interesting going back and starting just the first chapter to realize that Sirius Black is mentioned in the first chapter when Hagrid is bringing the baby Harry to the Dursleys' house, which I forgot how much I can't stand the Dursleys.
Right.
As we were reading it, I was like, oh my gosh, I just hate them.
Well, and I was thinking that when Harry was looking through in the pensive at Snape's memories and his memories of Aunt Petunia, but as a little girl, what a wench of a woman she was then.
Yeah.
As a little girl.
But Sirius Black is mentioned even in the beginning, and after we finished the chapter, my husband and I were talking, and I was just kind of marveling in the fact that yeah, some things were probably made up as she was writing the books, but there was so much that she had to have had
thought process
planned out and everything, and to think back on Snape, who is such a tragic character that you learn all of this stuff toward the end about why he is the way he is, to get to that point, but to work up to it through the entire first 6 books. And Neville is another character like that
Neville is an underrated character in the movies.
He's one of my favorites.
But he's awesome.
Books.
Yeah.
But
Luna.
Luna's amazing.
I love
Luna. But so if you haven't read the Harry Potter books, I highly suggest you do, or listen to them on Audible or Overdrive or something.
Yeah, because I haven't actually read them. I've just listened to them, but
the movies are great.
Yes, they are. I think
the books are amazing.
Well, and can I just say, as far as the movies go, I mean, the actors and actresses like Maggie Smith that plays McGonagall, oh, love her. And Alan Rickman?
Yes, may he rest in peace.
Yes. Oh, he played an excellent Snape.
And even as much as I hate them,
I love
the
them.
people who played the Dursleys did really well.
Yeah.
And do you know, I can't remember her name, but I saw a post about it like yesterday on Facebook. That the woman who played Dolores Umbridge, arguably the most evil person in the books.
Oh, right.
She did so well playing that character and making us hate her. But I was watching Maleficent, was on TNT. It's a Disney like retelling kind of Sleeping Beauty, but
Has
from
Angelina Jolie in it.
Yeah, but it's like where Maleficent isn't the bad guy as much. Kind of explains her story, but the woman who plays Umbridge is the Pink Fairy. Is that Flora? I think is who it
I'll
is.
have to watch that again.
And
Oh, she does.
And I just couldn't. She's wearing pink, and she has Umbridge's face, and I just couldn't like her at all through the whole movie. And I'm like, you know, as hard as that is, like, she did such a good job playing such an awful character, and I tried really hard to not let it interfere with her other character, but.
Well, can I tell you what other person that I loved? Molly Weasley.
Oh my gosh, she is my favorite.
I love her. And at the end when she's going up against Bellatrix and not my daughter, and oh my gosh.
Bellatrix is going after Ginny, and...
Yeah, that was awesome. I love it in the movie, but I loved hearing it in the books. And
we're just going to talk about Harry Potter this whole video, okay?
Stitch with us and Harry Potter.
But Crystal and Chelsea in their video last week were talking about how they could go on for hours and hours and hours about Disney.
Yeah, we could.
We can do that.
Harry Potter,
but we can also do that with Harry Potter.
I was gonna say, yeah, we could do it with Disney equally, but
I want to finish this.
But the Molly, her character, and you know, it was probably just maybe it's been a couple weeks ago. I was at the bottom of the stairs and I was doing some laundry and. Just at the top of the stairs, and they're just like half flights of stairs. Abby, I heard her come in through the front door, and which is just, anyway, they're really close together. And so as she walked past the stairway, I said, "Where have you been?"
Where have you?
I thought I was the most hilarious mom ever.
The other night, between when mom texted me and Abby about Snape. We ended up having like a gift war
with
Harry Potter gifts. And I was like, I just love my family so much.
Abby and I have done that before, and we actually had a gift like conversation, and it started with Harry Potter, and then it went on to like attractive men, because how Neville grew up to be actually attractive in real life, and then it went on to other attractive ones, and it ended up being like Thor, which is Chris Hemsworth, and it was Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. Anyway, and so we went on to all these other gifts, and then for some reason we got onto like food, and then we come back from food and went back to Harry Potter, and I'm like, okay, the conversation has to end because it has gone full circle. But it started and ended with Harry Potter. And then the one that we had was actually quite hilarious as well.
I was going to say something. I don't remember. Gosh darn it. It was Harry Potter related. Oh. I have this whole issue with Harry Potter, though. Because there is a very beloved character who I kind of hate.
I don't know if I'm going to like the sound of this. Do I know this?
Probably not. Dumbledore.
Oh. I have mixed emotions about Dumbledore, to be honest.
And it all kind of came back with the first chapter of Sorcerer's Stone. There's a lot that happens, apparently, as Harry is
a lot
left
of
with
setup,
the Dursleys.
yeah.
But, like, Dumbledore placed Harry with the Dursleys. I don't know why that was his job, because he's just the headmaster of the school. Like, I don't know if there's like a child protective services in the wizarding world, but
he was also from the same, what was
like Godric's Hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was from the same place, but I just thought...
He was also, well, it comes out a lot more in Deathly Hallows that he had searched for, like, the Elder Wand and the invisible cloak, which he had the cloak because of Harry's dad, and then, gave to Harry. But it came out a lot that he had searched for a lot of the same things that Voldemort had. What was my point that I was saying? But he was he had understood a lot what Harry was going to have to go through because of the prophecy, but then he was close to Lily and James Potter, and so I think he just took it upon himself. Anyway, to protect Harry.
Yeah. I know that, like, as he's leaving him there, McGonagall is there, and she's been sitting there the whole day watching the Dursleys.
As her cat form.
As a cat. And she's like, why this family? Like, they're terrible. And Dumbledore gives an excuse about, like, how they're his family, but also they aren't part of the wizarding world, and he's going to be famous, and he shouldn't have to grow up knowing that, especially being famous for something that he'll never remember, because he was such a young baby.
That took his family from him.
And I get that, but then, and my husband brought up a great point, why not send him home with, like, the Grangers? See if they'd adopt him. Let him and Hermione be, like, step-siblings.
Well,
but because the Dursleys were just so terrible, and, like, yeah, Dumbledore didn't know that, like, necessarily dropping him off that first night. But after the first year of going to Hogwarts, why make him go back to an abusive home?
Well, just because that was the home that he had his protection over until he was 17, and that the wizarding world couldn't touch him there. Versus, I think if he was with the Weasleys or something, they would have been able to track him, find him. I don't know, and was Hermione really a witch as a baby? I mean, did they know?
I'm sure they didn't know, but I'm sure they wouldn't. Well, I don't know how much they knew, but I mean, they knew that Harry lived in the cupboard under the stairs. That was addressed on his.
Well, yeah, envelope. I know they knew how much abuse, or how his life was for Harry, but I don't know if they knew Hermione was to send him with the Grangers versus the Dursleys. Yeah. This is going into a deep debate on Harry Potter. They could have
really put him with almost any Muggle family. And I get that, yeah, the Dursleys were family. And someone just in a Facebook group one day commented, and it just really, and I mean, part of it being a mom and gives me a new perspective on stuff than I did as a teenager reading the books. But someone just said there is never an excuse to leave a child in an abusive home. And I was just like, but really?
It's not like it was real and it happened. This is all a make-believe story. Yeah. And they were trying to protect him from Voldemort. So no, he was not in a good living life.
It made for a good tragic backstory.
Right.
Pretty much.
And it gave you the empathy and sympathy for what he had gone through.
Yeah.
And yet built on his character of a person he was, that he was still such a good person, even though his circumstances, but it was because it was born into him from his parents and things. Okay, they're getting a little too deep here on a story. But apparently this is our Harry Potter Stitch With Me episode. Hope we haven't spoiled anything for anybody, but like we said, it's been out for years.
I remember when, I think it was number 7, part 1 came out, and I was in high school, and it was right around one of my friend's birthdays. So for her birthday party, she got tickets to the midnight premiere for all of her friends. And so we all like went and camped out and went to the midnight premiere. But then one of my other friends wanted to go, but the midnight premiere was sold out. So we went to the 3 o'clock showing. And so I went in at midnight and then turned right around and went back in at 3 a.m. And then that night we went to it as a family. But I had school the next day too, so we left like right from the movie to get to school on time. And I just remember that was like, there were so many things that happened, and I read the 7th book and everything, but watching the movie and it was just like, oh my gosh. And then to watch it again and go to school and then watch it again that night, I think I actually fell asleep for a minute while we went as a family.
We went to all of them as they premiered and came out.
We went to a lot of the premieres with, it was you and me and Abby, and then my best friend, Caitlin.
Well, when Derek was, because I remember Derek went to Hollows with us.
Yeah.
Like he was older, and I remember when Deathly Hallows 2, when that movie ended, I just sat there, like I had cried, and I just sat there because the Harry Potter books, my kids had collected them and read them. Jordan, they always come out right before our birthday.
I started reading them in 3rd grade.
And it was such a big part
of my childhood.
Of our lives and the childhood, and I just overstitched one again. But then the movies, going to the movies were such a big part of our life and everything. And so then when I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, it's over.
Yeah, that was really hard for me.
It was like a...
I cried just over the fact
maybe I'm a little too invested in this Harry Potter series.
This series that I had like grown up with, because like I started reading them in like 3rd grade, but then as they were coming out, because I read the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in 3rd grade, I think it was, and then, well, I never read the 1st until
you
like a while later,
that.
Because I was convinced that I'd seen the movie so many times I didn't need to. I was young and dumb. But I ended up kind of reading them and being about the same age as the kids were at some point. I can't remember where. And and then it got to the end. No, I was like the same age as the kids in the movies when they were coming out. I think that's what it was. But then it came to an end, and I just cried over the fact that this was over. It was like closing the end of a book on like my childhood or something. It was like a whole emotional thing as a teenager. And y'all know how it's like to be a crazy emotional teenager. But
well, with that series coming to an end and talking about books coming to an end and everything, maybe we'll end this video.
Yeah.
We've done the stitching. I've got quite a bit done. I have probably 4 rows. I'll go back after I get the rest of this grass done up here. It's just a rounded hill, and well, it's kind of got a flat spot for the house, and fill in the flowers will be next. I do have 1 more row of green over here to do, and then start the tree. So.
And I'm hoping that I counted correctly with this row, because I was trying to count it, where to start it while also talking. So that's always a mistake.
You know, and for everybody that does stitch with me, kudos on being able to count and talk and stitch at the same time. Sometimes it's really difficult, but anyway, thank you for joining us. And if you'd like to join in on the stitch with me or the stitch along with this, please use the hashtag basic up and away.
And you can use it on Facebook, Instagram. That's where we're most active.
Is on Instagram, yes.
And I don't know if anyone really like tweets or anything, but I don't really follow Twitter.
I don't either.
Or Tumblr or any of that, but you can use it there, and I mean, if other people use it there, then you can like connect with them.
But
And then you can also do it on YouTube.
yes. So, sorry, thanks for stitching along with us, and hope you made progress on your stitching, whatever project it was you were working on, and we will see you in a week.
And last thing, I wanted to shout out Nancy, Quilting Stitcher, for this.
Oh.
Last week we showed it in our video, our super cute needle minders that she made. So I love it, and thank you again.
Well, and we have had a couple people, if you go on Instagram, this is, sorry, another one little snippet, and follow the hashtag basic up and away, and you'll see the other stitchers stitching it, and it'll just, if you follow the hashtag, it'll just show up in your feed. And we already have some finishes and some other color conversions and stuff that have been done, and they look beautiful, so it's something to definitely go on and look at.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.